Hello, everybody. Hey, this is Larry, and I am here to tell you how you can use burnout, use it to your advantage. And I want you to know I help entrepreneurs eliminate burnout and unlock success by aligning their mindset and energy with your business goals. That's my whole focus of being here. So, burnout, it's kind of it's not a good thing, but burnout kind of gets a bad rap, like it's an end all to a lot of stuff. And I want to show you how you can actually transform how you view it versus how it can help you in your business and in your personal life. Okay. So burnout is very similar to when you do an overload, when you're overtraining at the gym. So when you're overtraining at the gym, it is what you're doing is you are pushing your body past the point where it should go, which is not necessarily bad, but you're doing it in a way that you're not utilizing it to your strengths. For example, in bodybuilding, weightlifting, you want to take the progressive things that you do with the weight. So you get a progressively heavier weight and you keep doing that. If you jumped 20, 30 pounds, you would possibly overtrain. Now, physically overtraining that way can actually injure your body. But when you talk about burnout is almost like a mental aspect can affect you physically, and it manifests in a few different ways. So the first thing to do is to make sure you recognize the signals of burnout. Okay. That way you know where you are, you know what's happening, and you can start to utilize it so that it changes how you view it and thereby by how you can use it to your advantage. So recognizing the signals is the first step. So I'm going to give you 3 steps, and you want to recognize the symptoms, the signals of when burnout's happening. Burnout has a few different ways you can recognize it. One is you feel drained, don't want to get out of bed. Lots of times people look at it in the aspect of they feel like they are super sleepy. Okay. And you may be, especially if it's a Monday, it could definitely be you're oversleeping. But it makes you feel drained, you have no motivation, you don't want to be there. Now, that can happen a lot on jobs. A lot. I've had a lot of jobs. I'm much more of an entrepreneurial mindset, is how I look at things. So for me, when people on jobs are doing mundane stuff or violating the whole concept of, making it productive work, not just work. Nowadays, there's a lot of people who manage, and what they do is their purpose of managing is just like to make sure you're moving. I was told by an actual employer. And now you look at the business because the business is still around. There's multiple of them, Walmart stores. I was told just take this stuff off this shelf, put it on that shelf. Then when you're done, take it off this shelf and put it back on the other shelf. And when management walks by, it doesn't matter. They're going to think you're busy. So that's all you got to worry about. That's the way a lot of jobs are. That's the way a lot of people are thinking. So when you look at burnout, that's one of the kind of the idea of how people look at it. Oh, you have burnout, you're going to have to stop everything. Well, if you start paying attention to the patterns on it, that's not necessarily. So most people have, it happens in patterns. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. When you start recognizing patterns in your work life, in the way your daily routines are, you're going to notice that it's a not it comes in certain stages. Like there's the joke that everybody hates Mondays. They want to start on Tuesday. That way there's no Monday. But when you start on Tuesday, if that was the beginning of your week, it's still going to be just like a Monday. It has to do with mindset. It has to do with how you view it. So second thing you want to do is you want to shift your perspective and your strategy. So what I mean by this, shift how you look at it. For example, in the workplace environment where I was just talking, when you look at stuff as, oh, as long as the person is moving or doing something that makes them look like they're busy, then it's fine. But are you looking at it from the end result of what you're wanting, or are you looking at it from just the current? So when you look at burnout in a different way, from a different angle, burnout is is not something that tells you stop what you're doing, totally stop everything. Burnout is, and normally when we run into burnout, we just keep pushing, 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 and it doesn't get us where we're going. It just, because when you go past where your body says to go, your body will say, I'm in charge. I knew someone who, and I kept saying this, your body prefers a state of homeostasis, prefers a state of balance. So if you go extreme over here, then what's going to happen is your body's going to say, no, let's bring you back. So in order to get that homeostasis, it actually will push you far the other way. And then when you come back, you're in the middle again. So you have to look at burnout the same way. Burnout's not a sign to stop. And it's not a sign that, oh, just keep pushing through, you're lazy, or you're not a good business person if you don't push through. That is not the case. What it's saying is you need to recognize what's happening. So start looking at the symptoms, the signals when burnout's happening. You know, are you really drained? You don't want to go to work? Uh, are you having really high stress level at work? When you get put in certain tasks, is it really overwhelming? You need to start looking at these things. Then what you need to do is look at it and figure out what is causing it. Okay. So once you figure out what is causing the burnout, then you can start to actually use it to your advantage. It's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that, hey, something is not working, so let's figure out a new way to do it so that you can make progress. Okay? If you keep, it's hilarious at the gym. When you go to a gym, the one thing that is hilarious, so many guys are on the bench press. You have these guys with these huge, huge upper bodies, and then they have bird legs. Okay, it's all about balance. If you are like benching like 225 and you're trying to do that, or um, do squats or something, it's something that requires your upper body alone rather than your lower body. That lower body is your support, so you have to balance the upper with the lower. It's the same way with burnout. It's saying, look, something's not working, and beating your head against the wall to try and make it work is not going to make it work. What you have to happen is you have to step back, start looking at it in a different angle, saying, let's see, what aspect of this is not working right for me? Once you learn that, then you can start to reframe what's going on and actually take it and say, I can do something with this. Now, burnout, I'm not saying never, because the next step deals with another aspect of burnout, because a lot of times in burnout, when you get past that point, when you push it, most of the time this happens. You should make the next step part of your plan all of the time. So let's go ahead with the next step, which is recharge. So most people say, okay, I'm really burned out, I'm done, I'm going to go recharge. I need to recharge. I need to recharge. Well, you should not take burnout to the point where your body is saying, okay, that is it. I cannot do anymore. I'm going to take a vacation. What you should say is, okay, I have a plan. This is my plan. When I run into burnout, or when I run into something that is not working, no matter how hard I try and push through it, I'm going to find a different way to do this. And then you have recharging as part of that. That is totally different. So rather than I have to go recharge, I need to go do this. I'm done with this whole, done with this thing. And you walk out of work, or you're going on a Friday and you do a bunch of drinking because of the stress level at work. Your recharge should be part of your whole holistic plan. Should be part of it. Another way to look at it is to set boundaries. Okay, this is the parameters of what I'm doing. This is my goal. This is the parameters to get to that goal. Many times you don't allow for those times when something doesn't work necessarily. And that is when you start pushing, and you find out that your body is trying to tell you, look, you need to take a break. That's where I come in some aspects. I help entrepreneurs eliminate burnout and unlock success by aligning their mindset and energy with their business goals. So book a call at some point. Book a call. Let's talk, and I can help you work through the whole burnout aspect and where you need to focus to get you to the goals of what you wanted to do. So your recharging should be part of your plan. You should plan for recharging. One of the big things, this is huge now. When I worked I was a manager at a major retailer, and I was put over a department that no one could do. They hated it. There's three departments. It was actually Walmart's. Three departments that no one liked: cosmetics, electronics. Well, everybody wanted to work in electronics because it was just cool. And at that time, it was housewares, which was by itself. Now, houseware and bedding and stuff like that are included together. They weren't at the time because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of small items that you have in the housewares. I mean, you have forks, you have spoons, you have knives, you have cups, you have all of these different things, utensils and everything for the kitchen. So no one liked it. And when I came in, the department had like 5 pages of outages. So 5 pages of items that we didn't have in stock, and they didn't care. Nobody could fix it. That's how they figured it. Nobody could fix it. We also had like 5, 6 bins and 5 or 6 pallets. We were allowed 2 bins in the back room. We were allowed 2 pallets, and the risers at that time were filled super high and everywhere. So the manager asked me, "Would you like to Would you like to work in housewares?" I'm like, "Fine, I'll do that." As a manager over housewares, I said, "Sure." So I took the job, and then I realized what was going on. I decided to make it my goal that I was going to transform the department. First thing logically to me was I went by my paperwork. I went by the P&L, for the department. I looked at the numbers. I looked at my stock. I looked at the dates on all of my stuff. First thing I did, so I knew where I was, I reorganized the whole department and took everything that matched what was on the bin and the overheads and the risers. I made it to match. So that was the only thing that was above it. Coffee pots, coffee pot. Microwaves, microwaves. And then I could figure out where I was stock wise. Then I started taking the oldest items that had been on the shelf for like 3 or 4 years in the back room and started moving those out, moving like ice cream scoops over by the ice cream, or measuring cups over by cake mixes on sidekicks. So I ended up getting the whole department organized. Knocked my stock down to like less than 2 bins. I had 3 items, not 5 pages of outs. And what people told me was, that's not possible. No way. Nobody can do that. And I went and did it in 3 different stores that I worked in. And the whole goal was I pushed through in a logical way. So in those times when I was like, felt burnout because it was really overwhelming at some points because it was just myself, I said, no, I'm going to switch. I'm going to go back. I'll go look at it from a different angle. Sometimes I would walk off and then I just view it from a distance. That's what you need to do. So you need to recognize the symptoms and the signals. You need to shift your perspective and strategy. Put boundaries up so that when you recharge, you're recharging on purpose. Remember, recognize, reassess, and recharge. How you need to look at to make burnout work for you rather than making it stop you. Burnout is not a sign to stop. It's not a stop sign. Burnout is a sign that you need to change lanes. It's the best way. It's the best takeaway I can give you. And if you would like to talk to someone about how you can make burnout to work to your advantage, book a call, leave a comment, let me know, and be happy to help. That's what I'm here for. You guys have a great day.